Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Here we go. We're starting here on Perek Beis. The Gimel Perek Beis. Daf Pei Gimel. Erev Shabbos Hachana l'Shabbos. Erev Shabbos Hachana l'Shabbos. This Perek is a very big key to really being koine Shabbos. Being koine the connection to Shabbos, and thereby being koine the connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is a very, very crucial Perek, because it really talks the ma'isa of how important it is, the hachanos of Shabbos. Right? This is a big nisayon for a lot of people. Right? There are people out there who, they're ready for Shabbos by noon. I don't know who those people are, but it's very, very difficult. Very difficult, especially when you have little children, to be prepared for Shabbos, because everything you prepare gets undone by the time everybody gets home from school. So it's not such a pasha thing. I know for myself, I try to clean up and do spanja and try to do it when there's nobody home. And as soon as everybody comes home, it's like it didn't happen. So it's a difficult thing. It's very difficult. But the hachanos for Shabbos are extremely, extremely important. Obviously, everybody showers before Shabbos. They get clean before Shabbos. And you put on Shabbos clothing for Shabbos. But there are little nuances in Hachana for Shabbos which make all the difference. Little things. And if we understand how important the preparation for Shabbos is and how much that plays a role in our really appreciating Shabbos, so then hopefully this will be used as a good chizuk for us to prepare properly. Unfortunately, the stereotype of the guy who shows up from work, after candlelighting, and he's exhausted, and somehow he gets dressed, and I don't know, he makes it to shul at some point, and then he falls asleep with his face in his fish, at the table. So that is very, very unfortunate, and missing out on what Shabbos is. It's really very sad, but it's more, or at least, you had Shabbos Menucha. We're going to see in another couple prakim, what does it mean, Shabbos Menucha? What is real Menucha on Shabbos, right? And you can take a nap every day of the week. I try to take a nap every day of the week. It's Kedai, because I can't function otherwise. But you can take a nap every day. So was it just you're resting on Shabbos? No, there's something much deeper than just resting. But let's start with Hachanas for Shabbos. So right here in the beginning of the Perek Beis. Erev Shabbos Hachana l'Shabbos. Apol pi shebiyom Shabbos atmo ein mitzvah yisodit. Like we've discussed many times on Shabbos, there isn't any specific mitzvah on Shabbos, bo bayom, on the day of Shabbos itself. B'kidei lahasig et Kedusha Shabbos, in order to grab hold of the Kedusha of Shabbos. There is no special mitzvah like on Pesach. We have matzah, to grab onto matzah to understand what cheres is, or on Sukkot to grab onto the sukkah, dalad minim, to express sukkahs. There is nothing like that on Shabbos. Mikol makom lifnei haShabbos yesh amna mitzvah miyuchedet b'chedei lahasig et kedusha also. There is before Shabbos there's a mitzvah. He mitzvahs hachana l'Shabbos. That is the mitzvah of preparing for Shabbos. Preparing for any mitzvah is extremely important. You can't just jump into a mitzvah. You should be preparing for any mitzvah. You should be preparing. A lot of mitzvahs, people say harini muchan u'mezuman, which is I prepare. I'm saying with kavanah. I'm doing the mitzvah now. We make a bracha before most mitzvahs, not all mitzvahs, but we do. We don't make a bracha before you give tzedakah, right? The reasons for that: bein adam l'mitzvahs, bein adam l'chaver. We don't make brachas because we don't want people to think that they're a chefta. The ani is a chefta shel mitzvah, right? You're the mitzvah. Hold on 1 second, right? They say the joke that the people are very, very makpid on matanos le'evyonim on Purim. They want to know that this person is vaday and ani. So mamish, they check everything. They mamish because they want to have the most muhudir mitzvah they can possibly, and then they want to keep it for next year also, so that they can keep this mamish muhudir mitzvah, right? We don't treat our fellow Jew like he's a chefta shel mitzvah, so we don't make a bracha necessarily. It's one of the reasons we don't make a bracha on mitzvah, and generally on mitzvahs ben adam l'chaveiro. But there are preparations. I'm doing a mitzvah. We should prepare for every mitzvah. Mikomakom, ein mitzvahs hachanim ufuresh b'Torah. When it talks about preparing for a mitzvah, it doesn't say anywhere in the Torah about preparing for a mitzvah except for Shabbos. Right? Ela be'inyan Shabbos k'dichtiv, the pasuk says, "V'haya b'yom hashishi ve'echinu asher yaviu." On the sixth day, you should prepare what you have. This is talking about the mun. HaKadosh Baruch Hu dafka sent 2 portions of mun on Erev Shabbos, on Yom Shishi, on Friday, because you should have extra, be prepared for Shabbos. Prepare it. There's some who learn that this pasuk teaches you there's a daraisa of preparing for Shabbos. To prepare something for Shabbos. Right? The one who tastes, what does it mean taste? They taste on Erev Shabbos and make sure the food tastes just right for Shabbos. You're supposed to taste food. It's the din to taste food on Erev Shabbos, so you know the food is tasty on Shabbos. Ein bir halacha, reish siman reish nun. V'tzarich bir lama miyuchedet Shabbos mikol ha-mitzvahs be'inyan zeh shel hachana. Why is Shabbos different than all the other mitzvahs? And of course, we're supposed to do a preparation for all the mitzvahs, but this one, specifically in the Torah, this is ma'akiv Shabbos. If a person doesn't prepare for Shabbos, so he's not going to have. In fact, the dogma of Shabbos is a way that they describe Olam Haba. Right? We say Mein Olam Haba, but the dimyon is Misha Meichin be'erev Shabbos, Oichel b'Shabbos. Somebody who prepares before Shabbos will eat on Shabbos. It's the same thing as it's a mashal for Olam Haba. Somebody who prepares in this world will have what for the next world, and they use Shabbos as that mashal because you have to prepare. You have to prepare. Here, he takes a piece, this is where the Ramchal speaks out this point, that there are 2 parts to how the world runs. The bracha, the shefa in the world. There are 2 parts. One is what we do here in this world. We have to send shefa up to Shamayim. Our shefa will then be reciprocated down from Shamayim to send shefa on this world. What's the shefa we send up to Shamayim? Hopefully we send our mitzvahs, our limud Torah, all the good things that we do. A person, unfortunately, can do the opposite. He has bechira. A person can send a bad type of shefa to Shamayim, and then there will be reciprocal. So really, the way things run in this world is based on our input. That's the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. For those who want to go into this more deeply, you can learn Sefer Derech Hashem by the Ramchal, where he discusses this idea. Nefesh Chaim discusses. Yeah, this is a big idea. We play a major role in the running of the world. The Jewish people, it used to be once upon a time before the Mabul, or maybe before Matan Torah, it was the whole world, but now it's only the Jewish people. The Jewish people, maybe we shouldn't say this on tape, but the Jewish people run the world. From a ruchnius perspective, from a spiritual perspective, because we're the ones who are sending shefa, right? Like the Gemara says, "Ein peronius bala oilam ela b'shvil Yisrael." Anything that happens in the world, it's all for the Jewish people. They say a story with the Chavetz Chaim. Probably this story could have been with a lot of people. I heard it with the Chavetz Chaim. That the Chavetz Chaim, after hearing that the Mississippi River overflowed and caused mass damage in Radin, he said, "No, we have to say Tehillim, we have to daven." So somebody said to him, "What do you care? Well, who cares about the Mississippi River? Why do you care? What shaykhs does that have to us?" So this is what he said. What do you mean? Everything happens in the world because of Klal Yisrael. If something like this happens, and it's a sign for us. It means we're not doing things the way that we're supposed to be doing. We need to step up. Just as an interesting side point, by the way, I just saw in this week's Mishpacha magazine, for those of you who get it, you can look at it. There was an article written about Shabbos. And in the article, I didn't get to read the whole thing. I only read part of it. But in the article, it says how the whole Jewish people, I shouldn't say the whole people, even many, many irreligious people have a kasher somewhat to Yom Kippur. Why do they have a kasher somewhat to Yom Kippur? It's because of the reverence that the Frum people have for Yom Kippur. Because we, the Frum people in the world, have such a strong kasher to Yom Kippur that that it felt even in outside. It felt even in the people who aren't necessarily frum. However, Shabbos, so many Jews out there that don't know what Shabbos is. They don't know what Shabbos is. And really, we can look back, turn to the frum people. What do you mean? All the frum people keep Shabbos, right? Hope so. But it's not. We don't have that same level of awe when it comes to Shabbos, and therefore you don't feel the reverberations outside, and that's why many don't. They don't have no kesher b'chlal. They don't know what Shabbos is. So really, the more we put in, you'll see. The more we put in, the more it will have an effect on those around us. Even we can see mulei naim. We can mamish see it again. Clearly. Or also, certainly what he's saying here in the way that the world runs. Obviously, the whole world runs based on spirituality. Anybody who thinks that the world just runs based on the physical laws of nature is quite mistaken. Very, very mistaken. If they're going to live their lives that way, then they're going to end up, unfortunately, in a very bad state. The whole world runs based on spirituality. Like he says over here, whatever happens in the world is based on the ruchnistic powers that are put into the world. So very much so what we put in is what we're going to get out. Now he brings this up over here because this is exactly the point over here he's trying to make with Erev Shabbos. The way HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the nature of the world in the 6 days of the week comes from our keeping the Torah. Taryag mitzvahs. Shenislu Yisrael im kol amitlav lehem, and all the things that go along with the Torah and the mitzvahs. Aval be'inyan Yom HaShabbos shu kabbalas pnei Ashchina papoil. That's all for the rest of the 6 days of the week, the work days of the week. But when it comes to Shabbos, la'los ha'olam leman Olam Haba, the world is like Olam Haba, like we say in the Bisman, me'ein Olam Haba, Yom Shabbos minucha. Shabbos is like Olam Haba. Ma'u ha'oifen ha'ishtadlus kedei lekabel ha'shefa miyuchedes l'Shabbos. What can we possibly do to be makabel, the shefa, what's being given on Shabbos? Like we said, Shabbos is free. Shabbos has nothing to do with us. Everything else in the rest of the week, it has to do with us. Shabbos doesn't have to do with us. Shabbos is only from Hashem. Hatshuva, ha'ishtadlus l'kras Shabbos. What is the ishtadlus we need to do? Hainu achana shel Yom HaShishi. We need to prepare. That's what we do. The reason for this is that the bracha of Shabbos is different than all the other brachas mizbar b'perek hakodim, is explained in a different parak, as we explained. Mikevan shekedusha Shabbos he galus kavod malchus shamayim kiyochol b'kvoidu v'atzmo, because Shabbos is the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world, him coming into this world. That this is like mamish seeing HaKadosh Baruch Hu against our eyes, right opposite us, like a speklaria meira, which we discussed in the previous year, meant with complete clarity. That is something that you cannot prepare for. It's something that was given for free, like we discussed in the Nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu. Even though Moshe Rabbeinu had the levels of Nevuah like all the other Nevi'im as well, and he was a tzaddik gomer, right? Like it says by Moshe Rabbeinu, the kol beisi nemanu, but the level of Nevuah that he actually received was actually a gift. No human being could possibly reach such a level of Nevuah, no matter how hard he tried. It would be totally impossible. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to him as a gift anyway. Just like learning Torah on Har Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights, you can't even get anywhere near what all Kol Torah Kula is. 40 days and 40 nights is nothing. I'm just going to tell you something so amazing. I was mamish blown away. This point, you want to know how big the Torah is? You know how grand the Torah is? There's a sefer called the Rambam. The Rambam wrote on all Shas, every halacha that's written in Talmud, Bavli, Yerushalmi, anything that's halacha l'maisa, the Rambam writes about. That's not new, it's been around for a while, but there's a new edition of the Frankel Rambam. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Frankel Rambam is unique. Is because Shabsi Frankel, who I believe passed away a while ago, he created an amazing thing that we don't find really in any other place. And he created a mafteach. He created a guide where you could look up halachos related to the Rambam in thousands of svarim. He had a whole team of Talmidei Chacham that went through thousands of svarim, and anything that's related to any halacha in the Rambam, marmakoimas on any halacha in the Rambam, is brought down in the Sefer there. I don't know if they mamish got everything, which what I'm about to say proves this point. But that's what he did. It's an amazing source for anybody who's learning Torah Be'in or just wants to understand the Rambams better. Amazing source. There's nothing else like this. There are many other publishers who publish Rishonim and Achronim and have footnotes. But so comprehensive, you don't find any place else. It's quite remarkable. Now, over the course of many, many years, they've been putting out one volume after another. Yad Chazaka, the Mishnah Torah of the Rambam, is 14 chalakim, 14 different parts. And one by one, they've been putting them out over years. One of the first ones that came out many, many years ago, I think over 25 years ago, maybe even more, was Zmanim. Basically, the halachos of Moadim. In there are the halachos of Shabbos, and Erevin, and Yontif, and Sukkah, and Rosh Hashanah, Shofar, Chanukah, Megillah, everything. All the inyanim of the Moadim are in that. And that was one of the first ones. Now, as it got developed, they got more sophisticated, and they got more svarim. To the time that they finished, it was many, many years later, only a number of years ago that they finished putting out every single one. But they decided they go back to the first ones because they weren't as good, they weren't as comprehensive. So they went back to Zmanim again. Now Zmanim, instead of being one volume, is 2 volumes. And I saw the most remarkable thing. This is basically all it is. This mafteach is a list of marmakoimos. That's what it is. It's a list of marmakoimos, a list of names and svarim and where you can find and every halacha of the Rambam, or whatever is shayach, but it probably comes out to basically every single halacha. In Zmanim, there's Hilchos Shabbos. I'm not sure exactly how many prakim there are in the Rambam Hilchos Shabbos, but I think there are about 30, something like that. I don't know, you can check. I don't remember exactly how many prakim it is. You want to hear something amazing about how Torah is Ein Sof? There are 400 pages of marmakoimos just on Hilchos Shabbos. Every page probably has 100 marmakoimos on it. Every Amud. We're talking about 400 pages. How in the world can anybody in a lifetime, in 10 lifetimes, be able to cover all of that material? And in 40 days, 40 nights, Moshe Rabbeinu got it like that? It's not humanly possible. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to him as a gift. That just shows how incredible Torah is. 400 pages of, not 400 pages of Chidushim, 400 pages of marmakoimos, which means each page is only like a half a line of where to look. Then you open up that sefer and it could be 10 pages or wherever it is on that point. We're talking about thousands and thousands of marmakoimos just on Shabbos. Just on Shabbos, that's it. What about the rest of Torah? It's mamish, it's unbelievable. Anyway, let's come back. We're talking about the hachronim for Shabbos, or that's what we're talking about. Shabbos is free. It's aspakler yireh. It's something that was given for free to Moshe Rabbeinu, and we have it on Shabbos too. Shelo shayach la hachana klal. You can't. Hachana is not going to get you this. It's not going to get you this tremendous gift called Shabbos. I'm not maul lefi zeh al kopanim inyan hachana l'kras Shabbos. So if that's true, what are we doing? If we're not going to be, if even the hachana, the preparation that we're putting in for Shabbos is not even going to be worthy to get what we're trying to get from Shabbos. It's so puny compared to what we're going to get. So here, I'm just going to summarize the next part over here. Here, where Pinkas brings that when Klal Yisrael were in Mitzrayim, and they needed a schus to get out of Mitzrayim. What was the schus? So we know, go to a bris. I was at a bris today. You say, you live by your blood. And what's that talking about? It's talking about the dam of Korban Pesach and the dam of Bris Milah. And the schus of dam Pesach and dam Bris Milah, which Klal Yisrael didn't have any mitzvahs before that, that's how they got out of Mitzrayim. Says Rav Pinkus, whoa, not so fast. They were ready to go before that. There was a lot of hachana that went into it before that point. That's talking about the last second right before they left. Right? We're talking about the night before they left. There was a lot. There were Eser Makos, there was Moshe Rabbeinu, and then there was a preparation. You waited to the last second for a zchus. So Pinkus explains that when we get the geula might be totally on a zchus at some point. But the ikar point of the geula is that you have to want the geula. That's what it has to be. There's a desire for the geula. If a person doesn't have a desire for it, it's not going to get it. He's not going to get anything. And many say, I saw this a pshat, I believe Zero Tauber brings this point down, but maybe others. Why were they 80% of Bnei Yisrael didn't leave Mitzrayim, according to the most conservative view? According to the most conservative view, it would be 80%. According to others, it could be even less, even more than 80% didn't leave Mitzrayim. Why? Because they weren't interested. They didn't want to leave. They didn't want to leave. You don't want the geula, then there's no geula. The one thing you have to do to get a present is to say, I want the present. If you say, I don't want the present, then you're not going to get it.
How did they get out? If 80 to 90% didn't want to leave.
The others did. The other 20% did want to leave.
All you needed?
Yeah, that's why the 20% left.
I'm saying that's all they needed as the impetus.
Yeah, it was for them. At the end of the day, it was for them. They were the ones who left. That's what it is. That's what happened. They wanted to leave. So if they wanted to leave, so they left. The ones who didn't want to leave. What does that say about our generation? It's a little bit scary, right? We have to want it. If we don't want it, so then we might not get it.
So who did the Mila and the Pesach when he was dead?
That's right. They were all dead in Makas Choshech already. The Mila and the Korban Pesach was the day before. It was the day before they left. It's Leil Seder. The next day, they're out and going. Makas Choshech was over a month before that. Right? According to the way that each Makkah was about a month, was during a specific month. The way it works out, very interesting, just as a side point, Makas Choshech was a month before that, because it was the 9th Makkah. The month before that is Adar. And you look in the pasuk, it says something interesting. It says, I believe the pasuk says, "Avayu Yisrael or b'chol Moshe Osam." I think that's what the pasuk says. There was or, right? Yeah, but that's the lashon of the pasuk in Parshas, in the end of Parshas Bo. In the end of Parshas Bo. Yeah, it's in Parshas Bo. That there was or b'chol Moshe Osam. Let me just see where we can find the pasuk. I can quote it properly. Parshas Boy. Yeah, the pasuk says, "U'lechol b'nei Yisrael haya or b'Moshe Osam." And it's very possible that came right around Purim. Maybe a Maisa over similar bonim, like we say every week by Havdalah, Ashkenazim at least. Say every week by Havdalah, La Yehudi Maisa Oira v'Simcha, with regards to Purim. Anyway, coming back. So that's the idea over here. You want a geula, you have to want the geula if you're going to get a geula. That's what it is. So if you want the matana called Shabbos, you have to want it. That's where I'm here at the very bottom of page Pei Dalet of Hayesoid Bazeh Shekol Bracha Sheyesh Lo Hagdara. Every bracha that a person can want, Ha'avoida v'hishtadlus likras hein al yedei ma'ase megudar. Everything has certain parameters. How do I get this thing? Usually every bracha, I have to do this, I have to do that. Aval kishaboim l'schus v'masha ein lo gvul v'erech. Something that doesn't have a gvul. Something that doesn't have parameters. Which is the Kedusha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is Ein Sof, which is doesn't end at all. Complete infinity. Lo shayach klal hagdir shum ma'aseh b'chdei lasigo. There is nothing specific that you can do because something specific has boundaries to it. V'havei matana min hashamayim. And here, this is a gift. Amnam hamatana nitenet lemisha roitze. If Shabbos is a matana, the only person who's going to get Shabbos is if you want it. You have to want the gift. V'chein b'Shabbos kodesh v'adei lekabel et kedusha Shabbos tzarich u'madrega mesuyement shel tzidkus. You have to be on a certain level in order to really understand what it means Shabbos. It's very interesting. A lot of people become Baalei Tshuva just by sitting at a Shabbos table. You read these stories all the time. This person, no shaykhus to anything, and he sat at a Shabbos table, and wow, like what is going on over here? What? Yes, it probably is the cholent, probably, but the ma'isa, the cholent is also that's why cholent is such a firm food, because the cholent you have to be making the cholent from beforehand. Yeah, all the food obviously you have to, but cholent. The whole point is that we trust in Chazal, and dinim, and we set up the hot food for Shabbos lunch. Right? That's the Iker time, not Thursday night. I know everybody thinks Thursday night. That's Cholent time. It's not. Cholent time is Shabbos lunch. They're missing the time of a Shabbos. Aval ein ze Iker sibas kabbalas Kedusha Shabbos. Iker Kedusha Shabbos. What's the Iker Kedusha Shabbos? Lemisha roitze the Shabbos mitzapala. Somebody wants Shabbos. That's where it is. Hainu lemisha roitze Kedusha Hashem yisbarach b'shchintei chobekes la'olam. I want Shabbos. I want to greet the Shechina. That's what it means that you have a mitzvah on Friday. I want Shabbos. So what are you doing? What are you doing showing that you to show that you want Shabbos? Are you preparing? What are you doing to show that you want Shabbos? Yes, we get dressed up. Yes, we get our food ready, but are we doing all those little things also, or just something that I have to do and have kavanah for it? Why am I doing this? What we're doing is say, look, Shabbos Kodesh. I'm doing it because I want to prepare for Shabbos. Okay, we're gonna have to continue with this next week.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Ellie Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.